Right, so we'll create a fascia purlin for the top edge at the moment, sort of based on this one that we've used down at this bottom edge, but we'll make that suitable for the top edge of this skillion roof that we're going to start constructing in a little while. So to do that, we'll go back to our worksheet. So that was my worksheet WO2 steel sections. We're back on the worksheet here again. I'll just move that fill that we created out of the way. So select the fill and then click to get your pet tool, change to pet tool drag if you need to, and just move that out of the side so that we can work with this line work again. So I'm just double checking that our line work is separated at these arcs. Now remember, they can include that arc. When you click on this line here, if it included the arc, that would be fine, but we want it not to include anything past the arc. So it may or may not include the arc. So both of these at the top here don't include the arc, and I'll just check what we've got down the bottom here. That one does include the arc, and that one doesn't. Really doesn't matter what yours does, as long as it doesn't go past that arc point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this rotation thing again. So I'll select that, and then I'll shift select everything else until we make up the shape all the way around from the arc. And then if we click on one of these nodes again, or anywhere again, and change to rotate in the pet tool, if you hover over an arc until you get across for the center, you can then click on the center point there, and then we click any direction to start, doesn't matter. But if we come down 5, that'll only bring us level. So if we come down 10 degrees, that'll take, oh okay, looks like we're going to go -10. Sorry, I'll just Control Z that in. So I'll click on that again, click on rotate. So it looks like that's our rotate center. Now it looks like you've got to give a negative value to go back this way. So we'll go -10. And that'll give the right slope in that direction. We need to join that shape back up again, and we'll do the same to this one here. So we're going to select that line, then shift select until you've got all the parts selected up to the radius, up to the fillet, and then click on it again to get the pet tool. Make sure you're in rotate, hover over one of these arcs until you get a little cross for the center of the arc. So come on to there, and then we're going to click once again and go -10. Okay, so we have to tidy this up as well. So we'll have to now tidy up and close this accurately. So these little gaps that are left in behind, or if you have any overlapping pieces that need to be trimmed off, they must be closed perfectly. So to close up these little gaps here, I'll just use the arc circle tool over here. Make sure you're in a solid line, doesn't really matter what layer we're in. And I'm just going to hover over this arc, wait for a center point to pop up, then click the starting point as the center point. Well, the center point is that center point, and then the starting point of the arc will be the end point of this line. So I'm looking for the pencil to turn black, or a tick to make sure I'm on the end, and then I'll come across here and once again looking for that end point. Do it again, so I'm hovering and waiting until a center mark pops up. I'm on the tick, so that means I've got that center mark. My pencil's turned black, so I've got the end, and my pencil's turned black, so I've got that other end. So if I just do that process again up the top here. Okay, so we should now be able to go back to the fill tool and magic wand, hold down the space bar and click, and we've created a fill of the shape that will be a fascia board with a negative roof slope. So if you want to describe the fascia board down at the gutter end as having a positive roof slope, we've got the fascia board up at the top end as having a negative roof slope. So now if I select that fill, so I've got that fill, and I will copy that to my clipboard, or Control C. I can then close down my worksheet, and then I need to go once again to Options, Complex Profiles, Profile Manager, and the last one we called it was Fascia, Purlin, Gutter. So this time we're going to create a new with this button, and we're going to call this Fascia, Purlin, Top. Okay to that. So that's opened up the editor. Remember, we have to zoom out a bit until we find the origin cross, and then when we're somewhere around that origin cross we can edit, paste, or Control V. And we're going to go to the centre of the current view and keep the current view. Marquee is there so that we can drag ourselves into position, and then when you click outside the marquee it drops it into place. Now we'll need some guidelines like we've used before, one at that top edge, one at this side edge, and then we want to click on the object. Now this time if I try and click there, I've lost the object, so I can't drag. So if I click on the object, and then if I go up to Edit, Move, Drag, that'll keep the object selected and allow me to pick this as my starting point, and then this is my end point. So I can then view guideline options, remove all guidelines. So I always want to create this as being like this top edge of the profile along the roof slope, or the underside of the roof slope, as being my datum point for all of these roof Purlin elements. So that one's done. Just be careful that we use width. Remember, we'll have to use it with a beam, and then after you've got beam selected you can uncheck wall, and then we click Store Profile. So we can close down the Fascia Purlin, then close down the Profile Manager, go back to our first floor plan and place one beam, and we'll change the structure to Fascia Purlin Top. And if we place one somewhere along this inside edge, just outside the shop fronts, for a starting position, and then once again open up the section view. So we've got it here now. Okay, so we want to bring it initially from this edge here to outside the grid line. So it's doing that. So the concrete tilt-up walls will stop at the grid line. This element here can be cut back and trimmed off, but the main, where it hits a concrete tilt-up wall, but the main part of the Fascia Purlin will continue all the way through. So we now just have to bring that up. If I use a guideline, might be the best option for that. So I'll use a guideline like we've done before at this top edge here, and then another guideline on this edge. Okay, and while that's selected, I can go Edit, Move, Drag, and drag from this point just here to this point just here. So now I've got all my roofing elements. Just tidy up some of these guidelines, not all of them. Well, yeah, I'll tidy up all of them. We'll put them back in again later because they look like they're not in the right place. So it's always View, Guideline Options, Remove all guidelines. Okay, so everything's looking like it's in place, ready for the roof sheeting to go on. Oh, one more thing we'll do before we finish that is in 3D view now, you can see that these Fascia Purlins, you can select them and then select one of the end points. I'll go for this lower one, and make sure, see if I'm doing this, I'm dragging the whole entity, make sure it's in this stretch the length mode, and then you can stretch the length of that out until it's lining up with the corner of that element there. and that's probably the next, this edge here. So one of those bottom dots, click on that, and then you can stretch that one out till it's on this side of this wall. Okay, now that fascia will stop there because this wall very soon is going to go up higher. So we've got a second mezzanine story above these 2 points through here. But we can do the same thing here for this purlin. That top fascia purlin there, one of those end points there, we can stretch its length out until it's level with that outside edge, and the same at this point. So one of these points here, we can stretch. Okay, I must have picked up something wrong there, so I'll go for the bottom one. So that bottom one there, you change that back to stretch the length. Just make sure you've got the right pet tool happening all the time. And this one goes to the inside edge of the wall. So make sure you have got that inside, either that inside edge until it lights up blue. No, it's not lighting up, so you've got to get an end point there. So come into that corner end point until you get the tick. And that will have lined that one up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these other ones across from our first floor plan. So we go back to our first floor plan. So all of the other ones, select and shift select, like this. Okay, and then we can copy, edit, move, drag multiple copies. And I'm going to drag multiple copies from this grid here, X2. I'm going to drag it to X3. So that's made a copy of those ones, and then drag it to X1 also, which has made a copy of those ones, but then I'll have to individually bring these, we'll change this back to stretch, so we'll have to individually stretch these ones back. And then we've got all of the purlins for the lower roof height all done. Okay, so let's take out of that, and in 3D you can see we've got all this roof structure. Now they look like they're floating in mid-air at the moment, but just hold that thought for the moment, because I'll just show you briefly. You don't do this just yet, because I'll be changing this. If I click on one of those walls and click on one of their endpoints, one of the pet tools should be change the height. Now the height of these walls, I'll just exaggerate at the moment, the height of these walls is going to come up through there. So these walls are going to support these purlins either side. Okay, but I'm just not going to worry about extending those walls up for the moment, so I'm going to undo that. So it's back down there, but that's why I've copied these internal ones in between concrete tilt-up walls, knowing that later these concrete walls are going to be stretched up to the underside of the roof sheeting. Okay, so I'll stop the video there at that point.